A very good evening to our viewers. Welcome to ELITETV and you're watching Open Debate in English. I'm Amrita, your host for this crucial debate on the topic, Importance of Value System in Shaping Our Society. In this ever-changing world, societal values also evolve over time. Today we will discuss the shifting value system in our society. As is the nature of change, we discard some of the old and take some of the new. While doing this, have we lost our true value? From unconventional relationships to shifts in ethics and politics, we will explore the ongoing transformation and its impact on the future generations. Join us as we navigate the complexities of the ever-changing value system that shape our lives. To start with our debate, we will welcome our panelists for tonight. Our first panelist for tonight is Professor Amar Yumnam, a former VC, Manipur University. Welcome to ELITETV's Open Debate, Mr. Yumnam. Our second panelist for tonight is Mr. P. Sonamani, socio-political commentator. Welcome to Open Debate, Mr. P. Sonamani.
Oh, thanks for inviting. Good evening.
And our third panelist for tonight is Mr. Sapam Shyamananda, career counselor. Welcome to ELITETV's Open Debate, Mr. Shyamananda.
Thank you, Amrita.
We'll start the discussion right away. I'll first move on to Professor Amar Yumnam. That in this rapidly changing value system in our society, what are the points or parts that we should retain and what are the portions that we should discard? Professor Yumnam.
Well, let me start before that question something.
Sure.
Value system is not something which changes very fast. System will only evolve over time. And every society will experience that evolution. It is based fundamentally on the moral aspect which the society values. So in this there are two realms. Two realms in the sense there is a realm of value, good or bad, and a realm of obligation where we are responsible for acting, whether it is good or bad. So there is always a kind of a compromise to be made between those two realms. Realm of obligation, realm of value, good or bad, right or wrong. Well, in the case of what is happening in Manipur is that, well, it's not a single value system which is prevalent in Manipur. There is a diversity of values. Fortunately for us, the Meiteis have been living with the Nagas for long, and our forefathers, our kings, were so wonderful in their governance that they had evolved over time a wonderful convergence of functioning, networking between the two value systems of the Meiteis and the Nagas. But when it comes to the Kukis, well, Kukis themselves are yet to evolve into a complete social group. Their evolution is still incomplete. Besides, since it is a young group, they don't have much confidence on themselves. So their value systems are not of a permanent nature like the Meiteis or the Nagas. Their value systems are of convenience as of now. But unfortunately, in the case of Manipur, what we have felt is a failure not on the part of the public, is failure not our kings, but of the present government, that we have not evolved a kind of a mechanism whereby the different value systems can interact, can coordinate among themselves. With the Nagas, it was established long back by our kings, by our rulers. But Kukis, since they are new, this is actually an area where the government should have been much more careful, because we have a new one where the value system is still imperfect, social evolution is still imperfect, and value systems have not been fully established like that of the Meiteis and the Nagas. So that is actually where we feel the absence of governance in taking care of interaction between two value systems, between the Meiteis and the Nagas. So when this governance is not looking after the interaction between two value systems, one of the Meiteis and another incomplete value system which doesn't have a confidence of itself, that of the Kukis. This is exactly where we are living now. And Meitei social value transformation, well, it will not take much of a change, because the core value systems of Meiteis are wonderful. Our Meitei is wonderful. The core values are still intact. Then from time to time we may encounter certain crises and things like that, and from that Meiteis have already established their capability to evolve. So
Right,
I feel full confidence.
Yeah, Professor Amar, as you mentioned that we need a mechanism, you said that we need to institute a mechanism to interact these different value systems of different communities. What did you mean by that?
See, the value system which the cookies are following,
Right.
the value system which Meiteis follow, like they invented recently the Meitei, while our own gods and goddesses we hold a sacred place of ours, place of worship. They invented.
Yes, and also
That is
they
on the
started
basis of
rewriting
that-
history, right?
Yeah, that is on the basis of their value system. They have not learned how to interact with other communities by respecting their value system. Whereas Meiteis have already learned all those learning processes, all those lessons. We don't do that in their case. So that is exactly where the government should come into the picture, whereby the interaction between two value systems is smooth. But we have a situation right now where the governance is absolutely absent, and well, what kind of all nonsense which is going on is allowed to go free.
Yes, I
That
would
is
like to
what
know
has
what
been
kind of
happening.
mechanism would you suggest, as you
See,
mentioned.
governance means what? Governance means any kind of interaction between two individuals of a single group, intra-ethnic group, or inter-ethnic relationship should not be allowed to continue with violence for long. If
Right.
there arises any violence, it is for the government to see to it that violence is stopped sooner than later. Otherwise, how do you allow for 7 months to continue the kind of governance which says allow this? This is as good as legalization of killing disorder. And the character of governance is very, very important. It is the character of governance why we respected our kings, not because the kings came to us directly, because the character of our governance was such that we respected our rulers. But in the case of cookies, they have not absorbed that kind of a thing, because their system, social system, is still under process. They have not evolved into a complete society. So
Okay.
a group where the society is yet to evolve into a full form, and the society which is already in full form, they interact with this order, and whereas one is absolutely original to the place, another is there is a full, very large composition of immigrants. The commitment of the immigrants to the new place also is also a question. So all these issues should be taken care of in a single format by the government of the day, and see to it that the addresses of interaction between two systems are normalized.
Okay.
But we don't see even application of mind on this by the government of today.
Okay, indeed, a very strong opening point made by Oja Amar regarding the value systems of different communities residing in one state and the differences arising thereafter. I'll be now moving on to Oja Shyamananda for my next question. Is that traditional matrimonial values emphasizing on character and homeliness that used to be in the past have now shifted to prioritize a bride's salary and wealth. The once common male role of providing for the family has transformed, with some men even now seeking financial support from their wives. Is this shift unavoidable? What do you think? I think, Oja Shyamananda, I think you are on mute.
Yeah.
Could you unmute?
I'm sorry.
And
Yeah, sorry.
All
I
right.
think I was on mute.
All right. Please
trying to
continue.
avoid background noise. I think it's a long question overall. But I think just to supplement one piece to what Amar spoke, I think more than the different value system that he mentioned and how do we amalgamate or rather interact between the system, I think, but if you look at the overall society that we belong to, I think if we truly believe that we are brothers and sisters from different communities, I think we can look at the inherent values that we all had for many years or many decades, right? And I think we need to look at what has gone wrong, that we've sort of even within our own community, different community. I mean, we are trying to have cracks being developed, I think. But coming back to your question, I think if you look at the today's generation in terms of the marital values that you just mentioned, and I think the last part of the question is a little different, so we'll tackle that. But I think many years ago, or I don't know how far I can know, because I only remember stories from my grandparents and from my mother, and the way how women always used to be the homemaker and the housewife, and the value system, I think, where women, and I think this is way back from a human civilization standpoint, right? That the women, human beings, women always used to take care of the children, and men used to go and hunt. But I think today, in that perspective, in today's modern world, or rather few decades, men used to be the bread earner, and women used to be the housewife. But I think the value system there, in terms of who really instills the value of the of the family to the children, kind of lies with the mother. So we always talk about how my mother made me who I am today, and what kind of value system the mother puts it in the system. Definitely, there's a support from the father side also. So it's like, so in conjunction, if you look at it, it's the parental values that we talk about when we talk about family values overall. But today, since in modern days, we have what we call as, instead of saying house husband, I keep hearing this word we call as stay-at-home husband, where the wife starts working and the husband stays at home. But I think even in those scenarios, I have I've come across many families where the wife is not the bread earner, but I know does a better job or a bigger job in the government and things like that, and the husband, I think there also I've seen the value system still intact. But somewhere to the question that you asked, where men starts looking at, rather than the bride's
like her character, her homeliness, the traditional values that was once valued.
Exactly. So I think that is something that has changed over time, and this greed of wanting to get more dowry or wanting to get more things in the marriage. I think this is unfortunate. Maybe we're copying from other societies, if I may say. But I think overall in the Manipuri society, I think it still is happening. But I think I would say that it's not happening to an extent. But family values, if it's intact, and I think the point of discussion is that when the family values are broken, when we start looking at materialistic things, when we stop believing that there should be integrity in all the things that we do, and we even go about and try to earn more materialistic gains, and compromising our values, is when things start to collapse, is what I can say, Amrita. And I'll come back in the next round.
Sure. Thank you for your note on regarding the gender roles and the changing gender roles in the past few decades, and what coming till now, how the society has evolved, and still you maintain that the values could not be broken even though the gender roles are shifted. Now I'll be moving on to Ojapi Sonamani, that years ago women were placed as high value if she had many children. This scene has changed a lot now in the present. But then again, there is a clarion call, especially in the past 6 months, that in the name of patriotism for Meitei women to have a higher number of births. What is the underlying theme going on here, Ojapi Sonamani?
Yes, good evening to the ELITETV, and it's my I'm deeply privileged to meet the former BC, Mr. Arun, Professor Arun, and my friend and my brother from Chennai, Shyamananda, and your managing director, and the world over, the Manipur is listening our discussion. I bow my head to you. Thank you so much for inviting us. I endorse my both colleagues. What they have narrated is, I fully endorse it. But since you asked about the women earlier used to have the 6-7 children, and today they are slowly, gradually, that we have become a numerical, or now present youth, they wanted that women should have more children. See, this is when it was 200-300 years before Manipur, when it was a nation, a different country. The environment and the situations and what we wanted was very limited. Today, Manipur, we have merged with the India, and today the world is in our thumb, in this latest technology devices in the computer system. Today's woman and the husband, whenever they're educated, they're always concerned having more children will become a burden to them, because proper educations or imparting to them or providing to them is really an insurmountable hassles.
Yes.
Because every parents now, including the youth, they feel that giving proper educations rather than the proper maintenance of home, they feel that no, their children should be highly educated, maybe an IIT, maybe an UPSC, one of the candidate who comes out successful, maybe a medical officers, maybe a technocrats, maybe a bureaucrats, so and so. They're not ready to live. Just you go buy and market, from market vegetables, have food, and they look after parents, and they go to school or college, they go through their job, whatever they earn, they're quite happy. In one way, it was quite, really, they enjoyed it. But today's modern society, it's evolution. Because they want the better standard their life. Women should not be overburdened in. If any woman, if she happened to have 6-7 children, it will be almost impossible at this trend today in the world to cope up and to compete with this such a highly competitive world. It is impossible. Manipur,
Right.
although it's a very small state, but Manipur has earned its own status in the world, in the field of technocrats, in the field of culture, in the field of education, and in the field of armed forces, in different wing, in many other way, even in the film, even in the so many other culturally also were quite advanced. Although it's a very small, tiny, the people, but given it should be given, the decision should be given to the husband and the woman, how many children they should have. It is not with the force or with the coercion or with the strong the order from their father and the mother or mother-in-law or father-in-law. No, we should give to their freedom to the woman, because woman is the very difficult job. They have to
Right.
look up to their
Right.
father-in-law, they have to look up to the mother-in-law, then the husband, they have to cook it, they have to send to the school the children, then herself, once she has to go to employed in other job to maintain and to have the better standard, women role is more important. They are really immensely, they are performing their duty much more than a man. So
Yes.
having 7 children once upon a time without the wife going to any other assignment, man was the hegemonistic attitude. So only whatever they said, woman is to cook, woman is to bring it, then to go to the bathroom, wash the clothes, and look after the clean the home. That was the woman didn't know. Today's women are far they are very far-sighted. They think for the future, their children, and they consider that their husband, how he can rise up from the present position for better standard of life. So also again, she has to give the hand, really this immense important, the woman's role. So we cannot mount pressure, and we should not make them compel that you must have 6-7 children, like much earlier days when we had no any connections with the world, when we did not know anything, having food, buying a purchase, some articles, of cook and food and show, and listen to some stories and some advice, then go to sleep and then tomorrow morning get up. No, those days have gone. Today's education, giving educations, educated women, they plays the much important, vital and a pivotal role. So these women are much better in Manipuri community. They are really progressing it in every respect, even in the field, even in the literally, even the educationally, socially, politically also. But some rights should be given to the more. So that's why the pressure, no coercion should be mounted to to the woman. It is only the husband and the woman. Because these are different.
Yeah, but Oja Sonamani, but these days the women have joined, more and more women have joined the workforce. They are bringing in more income also. Like in the family, there are double income, both the husband and the wife both earning. Then why is it that still there is a fear that they cannot provide an idealized or maybe a better standard of living for their children and still stick to a fewer number of children in a family?
Well, you see, you are right in one way. A family, normally, as per the Hindu traditions or any other traditions, or Muslim or the Christians, other menfolk, is being given the more important, which should not have been. But by virtue as a man, they always try to have an hegemonistic attitude. This is right from the beginning. Our wife also knows, our daughter also knows, because there has to be one leader. There cannot be two leaders. That is another factor. Yes, you are right. In spite of having so much innumerable difficulties, women, even they are also sharing the burden of the family. They are hardworking people, but yet sometimes, of course, now Indian constitutions has this sex-wise, this the different attitude or the different power. This has been completely stopped. All are equal. So our society is yet to empowered, and our society has yet to give the full freedom because of the certain bindings right from the beginning, that the menfolk, he should sit first, then the wife should sit second in front of the in-laws. They should not occupy the seat. But the things are changing now, very fast changing now. Even belatedly, our parents, our elders, they have realized it. Wife role is more important, unlike our 100 years, 200 years before what they were, because of the world, what is called, I will call it, that the world is totally changing, and they're learning what is called the better standard and how to live comfortably. Today a TV is required, a local connections is required. Today some vehicle is a must here. Earlier, one cycle was more important. Having a cycle in Manipur, we used to see that he is a rich man. Today 30 lakhs, 60 lakhs, 1 crore vehicle people are applying it. Because wife also know that even if they can lend their support to the husband, they can also enjoy better share. They will get it. When the husband is weak, wife always come forward. When the wife remains at home, she's also frustrated because she's totally handicapped. She has no say to say in the house. That's why today's women are more educated. They are, because one has to see earlier 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, people the girls are forcibly married. Today they are not ready to do it. They say that 25, 30, if possible 30, 31, 32, during this fertility rate will be less, of course, but they know how to maintain. That's why they better understand. No pressure should be mounted on them. Rather, we should respect the amount. Once I jokingly just say, today's war between the narco-terrorist group, this refugees group, who are fighting more? Our women folk, our mothers, sisters, they are in the war front. Our men folk are behind them.
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
Who are the heroes? The ladies. Even in the home, they are the all in all. Because we men folk, we come and sit down, relax, put up our shoes and start, hey, bring tea, hey, what you're preparing, this thing, that thing, we know. But how much they must be owing how to satisfy their husband, children, then in-laws, then office side. They cannot live that I'm a married man, I have 2, 3 children, let me go ahead 2 hours before. Not possibly. So they have to maintain all sides. So from my side, I feel that we should not mount any pressure. Our numbers, of course, or fertility rate is little lower. But one example I would like to cite, it is not the having a huge number. See now Israel, hardly 45 lakhs or 50 lakhs at the most, or 50, 60 lakhs maximum. Entire Muslim countries, huge number. It is not the number, it is only the quantity. It is not the quality of number. So they know better. Otherwise, the Israel also could produce so many crore children, but it will not have any impact. So it is better to be a limited than to be unnecessary, the redundant group who cannot perform, who cannot discharge, who becomes a burden in the society. This is what I request, that women folk, what they used to produce 6-7 children when we are not knowing anything, what will be the impact in the future. Today's trend is quite different. We should leave it to the women, how much children they would like to have, what they can be able to prop up or to give education to them. It's an individual, their choice. No government, no people should mount any pressure. That's what I feel. This is my first submission to you.
Okay, indeed, a very interesting and wide range of points that Ojapi Sonamani has put forward. As Ojapi Sona,
well,
sure.
Let me add some.
Sure, I'll be coming to you in that. So please supplement, and I'll be coming back again to you again. Professor Yumnam.
The point is this: we are discussing the importance of the value system in shaping our society.
Right.
We are necessarily talking of the social value system, not the value system at the individual level.
Right.
Value system at the individual and family levels are different. For the Meiteis, over centuries, we have already settled on certain kind of values. The beauty of the Meiteis is that the sense of competition. Say, who is better in Mungna? Say, yes. Our Laharava has to end, who is faster and who is better in our traditional wrestling system. So, the sense of competition has been incorporated in our social value system for centuries, and that is social value system. Now, over period, what is happening to us is that the number of children which is socially acceptable is that our social value system today says that not have many children. Let's not question that. Let's not try to value to question our social system at that level, because to have the number of children more or less, well, at the husband and wife, that is an individual value system. They may have a kind of desire or need which is a little different from that of society, but the society has already decided. The question is, what is that social value system? What is the role playing today, and how? And that is actually help us. How the Meiteis look at any community across the country. Are there any community as widespread as the Meiteis looking at the global presence? Looking at the global presence anywhere in the world. That is our social value system. We have already decided that we should participate in the global competition, and that decides our daily behavior. Any family's daily behavior is determined by that social value system. Let's not question that. Let's not question that.
But Professor Amar, can there be a balance between this personal freedom, personal choice, and the societal value systems?
See, societal value system can evolve over a period of time. Say, along the lines which you desire, whatever. If out of 100 families, say 70 families start switching to the new value system, then that will emerge as a social value system. Social value system is something which evolved over decades, over centuries. It's not something that today we decide, some of us decide, and tomorrow we find a change. No. Society itself learns from our behavior. Because I learned from our Tammuz behavior. I learned from our Samanda's behavior.
But is there a way to pick which one we can keep and which one we will discard?
See, the point is which one serves the interest of the society.
Okay.
For example, education-wise competitive, sports-wise competitive, these are absolute values which we cannot question. Suppose we were deciding that let us discard with the number of children value system society has got today. Well, given that scenario, as Tamo has asked, will we still be able to participate competitively in the spheres of sports, in the spheres of education, as we have been doing for the last 5 decades or so? So, social value system has something which serves the interests of the society. See, Every society, every evolving society will discard any value system which doesn't serve the interest of the society. We have not discarded a number of Indian value systems because Manipur, Meitei society in particular, has been evolving with health in education, with health in sports, and they have been very, very competitive. So the recent crisis, just because we are having a tension with another community, we should think of increasing our numbers. Meitei capacity is not in numbers. Meitei capacity is not in numbers. Meitei capacity is in the quality of the community.
That's very good point. Yes.
Yeah. Look at any larger state of India where the presence in sports, for example, is as robust as the Meiteis. And even in education, is there any field of specialization, under the sun today where you do not find Meitei boys and girls? It's because the family can decide on that, because the social value system gives support to that commitment. So let's not question those larger things. We can think, imagine, okay, what actually is happening with the Manipur society? Where are the problems where we need to address?
Right.
Then
on
we
that
can
note,
relate it with the social value system.
Right. On that note, I'd like to know from you, Professor Amar, that the immense value that is being placed on money currently, be it black money or white, the end seems to justify any kind of means. It's turning into a cutthroat survivalist type of culture. So I would like to know from you, does this is impacted by the current political climate somehow in this trend?
That is not internet thing, by the way. That is politically imported value system. Unfortunately, that has invested us so much that today, at the bureaucratic level, at the administrative level, at the governance level, unless something is paid in case, nothing seems happening. Right. That is exactly where the biggest challenge of the Meitei society lies. Can the Meitei survive with corruption? Can the Meitei survive with corruption?
Yes.
No. Not because, I say no very, very emphatically, because if we are to survive with corruption, that means the inequality, say I'm the one who can pay the corruption. The inequality between me and the one who cannot pay the corruption, the inequality will be so much that the other person will have no alternative but to attack me. The society, if we allow the corruption to rule over the society, the kind of violence which will emerge in the society is such that the society will be completely wiped out from within by violence. Because the inequality which emerges from a corruption ruled society, where corruption is a ruling factor for every decision, that society will disappear not from invasion by outside but from within, because there will be so much of violence because of inequality that the group itself, the community itself will not have the capability. No group anywhere in the world, not just the Meiteis, any community where the ruling factor is corruption, that society will disappear.
You did a very strong point. I would like to highlight on that, as I'll highlight on what Professor Yumnam has said, that inequality, especially economic disparity and inequality, will destroy a society from
let me put
within.
one more thing. We are very much used to differentiating between this is economic, this is political, this is social. Everything is social.
Okay. The social inequality that will lead to the crumbling of a society from within. Isn't it a very good point?
Which is separated from social inequality. All these are related. We are a society because all the factors are interrelated.
Yes.
So the inequality, what you call economic inequality, will lead to social inequality. Social inequality will link with political inequality. It will be all inequality. That will be social inequality. The social inequality will divide the society such that there will be only violence.
And no peace and nothing else. Indeed, a very strong point made by Professor Amar. I'll now move on to Oja Shyamananda. that as we have all heard what Professor Amar Yumnam has said in just now, the political subculture in Manipur is turning into an undesirable one, as we can witness in every election season even. Is this politics dirtying our system, or do you think that the decline of value system in the society is reflecting back on the political atmosphere? What do you think?
Yeah, as Amar rightly highlighted, there's an interconnectedness between the social and the economy and the political system altogether. So if you look at so let me take a step back from what we have been discussing so far. If you look at today's, I mean, many years ago, I mean, when we were not so complicated as a society, I think today's society is very complicated, if I can say, and very individualistic. So when we say social values, when society does not exist, and when people are living only in four walls, and nobody even contributes to the society or the community or let me use the word laikai that we live in, it becomes very difficult. But as I think as Amar initially, or we discussed, that there is a family value that exists, and there's a umbrella that social values that exist, right? So if you look at from that family values, from a societal values that we have, overall, I mean, we all want to look good, we all want to do good, is what we all say, right? And on the surface, that we should be honest, we should have self-integrity, we should respect our elders and all that. But that has become very theoretical, and it's all written in books now.
Right.
And that's where the crisis starts. So if you look at the political system today, we end up, and sorry this is, we end up always choosing between the lesser devil, if I may say, right? Every election for the past so many decades, we have had, I think, lack of leadership is what I can highlight, and that itself shows that so it's a chicken and egg story, if I can say, Amrita, because whether the politicians are not able to institutionalize the good values in the society, or is it that society has become so bad that we end up choosing the wrong leader, right? So it's of where it starts. But I think to begin with, somewhere where if the political leadership fails, or if the family values fails, or the family is all disconnected and all that, I think it's my belief that, and I've seen some of the developed societies, globally, when I've traveled, that there is this, if I may say, like-minded seniors in that community, in that society, where they all work together to bring the change that they want to see, right? So from that standpoint, if you really look at today's society, so if you, as Amar slightly pointed out, Imphal is a very different city, if I may say. But if you go 15 kilometers away from Imphal, there are villages. There are many people who are suffering, and they live on hand to mouth. They live on daily wages. Now, how far do we go and preach about social values and the value system and things like that? It becomes very difficult. But within the Imphal city overall, I think there are many learned parents, and when I speak to my students, I always say this, that that every parent, the way we try to explain, we try to impose many things. The parents try to impose many things to the children, knowingly or unknowingly, and in that process, things get broken. There are children who are completely under pressure, both from their career standpoint, both from many things that are happening in that society, right? So I don't think, and it's my observation, that we don't even talk about value system at all. Right? We even have forgotten how to respect our elders. Even the way we speak to elders in the society, the way we speak to our own parents in the family is unfortunately not the right way, or not the way it used to be, let's say 20 years back. We have children in the society where we don't even feel nice to go and touch the feet of a teacher, of a guru, of a mentor. So it starts from there, is what I can say, because if you see today's politicians, I apologize, because I'm not talking about today's, I'm talking about all the past and many many of this, not just the politicians, if I may say, because your question was talking about politicians, but if I talk about bureaucrats, if I talk about many people, when the moment they have some money, when I say some money, meaning some from whatever sources that they've earned, they become so arrogant because money kind of gives them the additional power. They now have the power. They can bend the muscles. They can bend the rules. Not the, they have muscle power. They can bend the rules and bend the law. So their arrogance and the way they project themselves in the society, when children or the youngsters, the youth look up to that sort of a pseudo leader. I don't want to say pseudo leader, but then the unfortunate thing happens, right? They start copying all the wrong habits, all the wrong things, and the society crumbles. Overall, is what I can highlight.
Yes, as what you meant to say is like the deterioration of just simple manners and common sense is what you wanted to say in short, if I'm right.
Yes, I just want to supplement.
Sure.
I want to add one piece there, is that in sports and in arts.
Yes.
Okay, when I say arts, meaning if you talk about music teacher, if you talk about theater teacher, and if you talk about
dance,
sports,
yeah, performance arts.
In dance. In Manipur, I have literally seen that. That's where I can see a student bowing to the guru or to the teacher, to the mentor, is what I've seen, and not anywhere else. And that's where I want to say that it still exists in some form or some shape in those areas. Fortunately, if I may say.
Yes, indeed. Our art and culture is still preserving, to say, the real culture and the traditions and the systems and the values. On that note, I'd like to move on to Ojopi Sonamani, that we had a beautiful tradition of Phungawari. We all know that it is a very rich tradition of storytelling, of oral storytelling, a tradition by the elders to the younger members of the family, and now it is defunct. And there was many great stories of values and ethics especially. It is almost impossible to revive it now, but is there any other way that we can reintroduce such kind of interactions within families to still teach the younger generations of the values and ethics and morals?
Oh yes, Amrita, you're right. You see, about 50, 60 or 75 years before, when Manipur wasn't independent for quite even after the India got independent, as per the history that we were 1 year, we were independent. Neither we are fully independent, nor we are under the India government. So we used to hear right from my childhood that what they call it, Samdrim Bigi Wari, like that. And we used to hear it about 75, 80 years. We used to sit near that punga, that the near fire. And we used to very eagerly, we used to listen from my grandmother, grandfather. But those days were completely different, because once we have merged with the India, our style, living standard, or lifestyle, our educations, and what is good and bad, everything that we slowly, gradually, completely, it has changed. Because India is a huge country. India is a democratic country. This truly and literally democracy is totally failed in many states. Say our colleagues, Professor Amar Yumnam, he said very beautifully, he has elaborated. Slowly, gradually, the good things we did not learn from India. Only the best, worst thing we have imported from them. Right. Politically, there is no in Indian constitutions that we go on campaign and we go on a bribe, we go on the hand over 50,000, 20,000, 30,000. We need every candidate, one has to possess either legally or illegally 30 crores, 50 crores, 60 crores, 100 crores. It was never done in our history. So now we have fully concentrated. We are almost like whatever the dirty thing, whatever the notorious things that we have imported. The good things we did not learn from India after merging it. That is why today Manipur is sinking. Professor Amar said rightly, me too, I have been raising whenever our political leaders or the bureaucrats or political satrap or anybody, before they utter, they must look in the mirror. Are they clean? that they are going to say something? Or are they not clean? They are hiding 100,000 crores. They are going to a lipstick mouth. Then they are going to trying to mold as if they are going to fool. We are the foolish people. We know that man is corrupted. He has borrowed 500, 600, 700. Even Manipur Service Commission is a highly corrupted institution. 2016 batch. What has happened? Everybody knows it. A institution like what we consider that's a god and goddess temple, that is also completely impure. Every leaders, they are alleged to have corruption huge the quantum. So our Manipuri culture is the Phunga Wadi. Of course, today's time we need the education, today's time we need to earn money in order to live like Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta. The standard of life 5 crores, 10 crores, 20 crores, 40 crores, 50 crores. The building we want to set up where we are not capable enough to do. How do you earn money? Through the corruption. If the rule framer is the rule breaker, then what happens to the Aam Aadmi? What happens to general people? So there is a keen competitions of the corruption. Manipur is deeply rooted in corruption. It will be impossible, like the way I'm suffering from the multiple myeloma, from the cancer, blood cancer. When I approach a doctor, they say that it is not possible to completely remove. You are to contain with the medicines till your last breath. Okay, fine, it is in my luck. So every month, 40,000, 35,000, I have to incur in buying the medicines or the consultation. It cannot be removed. So also the politics has completely, we have been ruined. There is no time for that Phunga Wadi that our forefathers used to narrate. So many beautiful stories of Manipuri history or everything. Now today's life is more or less like a hierarchy. Right. The hierarchy that Indian society is ruling. Of course, not like the UP or Madhya Pradesh or the Bihar, the what is called Jamindari, then Rajkumar, or they rule not like that. Our Phunga Wadi is today the politicians, their story.
Indeed,
how much they can help me?
Yes, yes.
How much they can help me? Whether my son can be given after bus the hidden one box to 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs. The rate is, it is escalating. Then this has completely ruined our state. No doubt. Both my colleagues say, Manipuri, I term every community, unlike with this narco-terrorist cookie people. We don't differentiate. Manipur, who lives in this entire state, all are Manipuris. When we used to work in the Bengal or Meghalaya or Nagaland or any other state, yes. When we were in Nagaland, we were Nagas, as good law of the land has to follow. So my colleagues said that many cookie narco-terrorists, they are yet to learn what is called the civilization. They are yet to know that how to interact with the people. We Manipuri people, we used to accommodate every 34 communities so cohesively, so peacefully, in a very congenial atmosphere. We used to live. So Nagas, Manipuri, then Punjabis, Bengali, Muslims, or every section, people we used to live. Even the Kuki, Mijos, they were living. Jaram Thangam, I asked personally, have you ever given a piece of land to the Manipuri community? No, I doubt very much. You come in our state, Mr. Jaram Thanga, how many of your Mijos have been accommodated in the job? How many Mijos have been given a land in the valley area?
Right,
how many Mijos have been given so much freedom?
Yeah. Yes, I'll have to, I'll have to cut you there, Ojapi Sonamani, that I think you made a very good point. As you said, our society has come so far from Phunga Wari to political worry. This is how far our society has changed. I think it's a very good point, and on that note, I'd like to move on to Oja Amar again, that in today's fast-paced modern world, how do you think that technology and the internet and the social media have influenced the changing systems, especially the changing value systems? How far do you think they have influenced in this way?
See, the point is this, starting from that Phunga as an institution is no longer with us.
Yes.
So our value system also has undergone a change. In fact, for that matter, the community in the valley, the Meitei community, have adjusted very well to the modern technology in the sense that internet. Of course, it has had both bad and negative impact, depending upon how you utilize it. But looking at how our youths have been performing in terms of education and the achievement, our boys and girls participating in the national education and tests, and the national education and institutions, and international education and institutions, that is all based on their participation in the internet modern digital age. So digital age has had negative impact. The question is, this is exactly where how governance comes into the picture. That is, I keep coming to the issue of governance. Every society, earlier we used, okay, in the very old days, every village,
Yes, I can
am
hear
I
you. Yes, you
audible
are
to you?
audible. Yes, you are audible. Please continue. Hello, Professor Yumnam, can you hear my voice? I think we may have a technological, an audio like, I think I'll move on to our next panelist before I come back to Professor Yumnam again. So I'd like to move on to Oja Shyamananda, that please, if you could supplement the previous question that I asked to Professor Yumnam, and also I'd like to know from you, like, there is always a clash of elder generations and the younger generations, and there is always this generational gap between the elders and the younger, and especially as I asked earlier regarding the Phungawari that used to glue together the families, and that used to teach the younger generations a lot of the stories and morals. So my question is there any way this gap can be bridged even during such times such as during the prevalence of internet and social media? And also, please give your point regarding that.
Yeah, I think since Tamo is back, Amar is back, the question, I'll let Tamo answer that. But I think, Tamo, I'll answer this question first, and then maybe you from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think overall, if you look at the changing, so there are still many families. There are having, I think from my previous, what I just mentioned, right, I still have a lot of hope and a lot of, I still believe that, and I've met many young generations, many bureaucrats in the system. I would say a few politicians in the system who are still very honest and very dedicated and very committed to I would say that this, because of the way they've been brought up. One thing I would say from that Phungawari and multiple things that you just mentioned, Amrita, overall, right? I will just quote something in Maitailoan right now, because that's something which we keep hearing, and these are very old proverbs, and these proverbs are kind of, sometimes it is part of the story overall, or it's proverb is there in itself. So if I may say, there is a proverb that I keep hearing from my father, and I've heard it many times from other seniors also, right? So, maru mahan panba upaldi maru lukthai. So this means that, when someone is very wealthy, or when someone is, in a very high position, we expect them to be very humble. So as you rise, you're supposed to have more, and you're supposed to be more and more humble, and you're supposed to show a lot of humility. And that is what I see is lacking in today's system today for many reasons. Many reasons, be it technology, be it whatever changes that we are seeing today. And we are part of the global village. We are part of the global society, because something that happens in America, I see it right now in milliseconds, right? So we cannot avoid being intervened, or rather being influenced by the many systems, many things that are happening around us. But yes, as Amar rightly pointed out, we need to institutionalize. We will have governance where our Phungawari may be the old package, because we don't have Phungas in our household today. But still, I've seen many youngsters who have come up with this very nice Phungawari in YouTube. So somehow, many stories are being made, recreated in the form of animations, and still many parents are making sure that their children listen to that, because the values and the learnings that you get from this very old Manipuri traditions, if I may say, you do not get it from anybody else. So if you want to be brought up, and if you want to have that Manipuri societal values, which I truly say that it's different from many other societies. There might be similarities, but we have our own unique 2,000-year-old value system, which has been refined over and over so many years and decades. So if you want to have that, the parents have to go search and do it by themselves. So there is no institutional, support from the overall system, and that's where the crack is. And again, to coming back to your question, right, in terms of how the ahalon and nahalon, or the respect for elders, and I see this in many of my interactions with the students. Do you respect your parents? If yes, do you every day when you wake up, do you touch the feet of your father and mother? Because tomorrow they may not be there because they're aging, right? So as we all know, there's a phrase that says charity begins at home.
Right.
Everything has to begin at home. The value system of the family cannot be so different from what the society is. Maybe if you live in North Korea, if you live in Afghanistan or somewhere else, which is like completely, there is a dictatorial rule where the family wants their children to be something else, but the government is imposing something else, then that's a different story, right? But the societal values and the family values will overlap. There has to be an overlap. And that overlapping is where somewhere the society tries to influence the child, and then the parent is not allowing that influence to happen. So when I've seen many parents, unfortunately, I'm revealing this from my own interactions. Some parents say that, oh, do not go to that Laikai club. You will be wasting your time. Or do not go to that, do not meet that elder, you'll start behaving like him, or you'll start indulging into bad habits. And that's where the gap between the ahalon and nahalon has widened so in many ways. And I say this as a joke to my friends, right? The only time when ahalon nahalon meets is on a football match in a Yakshan sports, okay?
Right,
otherwise they don't meet at all.
Right.
And that's where I think we need to rebuild this whole system where the seniors or the elders in the society get their deserved respect. And I'm again saying, you may read 1,000 books, you may travel around the globe, you may travel in Mars, universe, but something that you hear from the elders of the society, of your Laikai, you will not get it from anywhere else. So
exactly,
I think that's where we are missing a big way, where parents are not letting their children to even interact with the elders.
Right, exactly. As you said, earlier you said that Punkawari stories are being presented over at YouTube, and that this is another sign, a good sign for technology. But children rarely have time to talk to their grandparents. In nuclear families, we don't even have grandparents anymore. It's like technology has overtaken everybody these days. So in such times,
let me add some points exactly at this point.
Yeah, I'll finish my question and then I'll come back to you again, Professor Amar.
No. This is immediate.
Yes, please go on. Okay, please continue.
Well, I had mentioned of governance.
Right.
See, before you start telecasting our discussion, the declaration you have put is that the opinions expressed are those of the speakers, not of you.
Yes.
What is the social image you have projected here? The people of Manipur are used to making, nonsense statements, to use the term nonsense. Used to make irresponsible statements, so you have to disown it. Is disowning and control are mechanisms for effective governance? I know how you have put it, because the government wanted to. And even in this, we have had already 5 disturbances. In this digital age, in our 1.5 hour discussion, we have already had 5 rounds of disturbances. Because somebody might not be wanting our discussion to be properly heard by the people. Can we not say that they are irresponsible? So it is all a question of how do we go about, what is the image, what would the people think when people see your declaration, before which you have put, for all to read, the opinions expressed are those of the speakers, not of you. What is the image of Manipuris you are giving to the outside world? So it will come in YouTube. It will come in YouTube. Even my one American friend, hey Amar, what is this going on? What kind of a thing is this? My American friend asking, after saying one of your YouTubes telecasts. See, the point is this: see, it is the behavior which will teach me behavior. It is your behavior which will teach me my behavior. My behavior is a reflection on your behavior, and your behavior is a reflection on my behavior.
Yes,
that is where governance comes in.
Control mechanisms.
So, what is much more important in this digital is how to facilitate the people. Many children are reading through the social media now. Many children are learning through the digital thing now. They are not able to buy the books, but they have the mobile. So they read through the mobile. So the question is how to facilitate those two. Well, for months together, Manipur went without internet. How can you imagine? The question is, in a small society like Manipur, which doesn't have much national wealth, how to facilitate participation in the digital age so that Manipur goes ahead? That is where the government should be applying its part. Instead, it is exercising control and asking you to put a line that, well, the participant here, Professor Amar Yumnam, I put some nonsense statement, and Amar Yumnam is responsible for that statement. You are not responsible for that. And you are also escaping. So in a society where we have escapists, and in a society where you want to only exercise control over others, is it a society to grow? Are we having a kind of atmosphere where our society can evolve? Or is that the social value system which we want to encourage? The social value system which is emerging very strongly in Manipur right now is that some groups will come up and that group will try to control your behavior. Is it
the balance that is happening now.
We want to cultivate this. So very core, very difficult issues Manipur is now facing. The value system itself is now being treated. If I can mobilize some 20, 30 youth, I can cause absolute havoc. Absolute havoc. Is that a value system which we want to encourage for the longer run for our society to evolve? And the way months together internet restriction, the kind of restriction you have, is that a society, or is that the basis for our society to grow? No, absolutely not. If you said that I'll make nonsense statements, so you are trying to make me accountable for my statement.
Right. Would you say that the society, especially the leaders, need to have a political will?
So something is wrong. If something is wrong somewhere, that is exactly why I said that we have a situation where we don't have government, but we have a governance which is used to using violence, indulging in violence. Violence can never be the basis for any transformation of any society. Forget Manipur. For any society, violence can never be the basis for any transformation. That is exactly where Manipur is in now. Even among the valley, there is lots of violence within, and there's so much of violence within cookies. Is that the basis for us to evolve? No, by no means no.
Very strong remarks from Professor Yumnam regarding this topic, and also a reflection of the society that Manipur society is currently in, and also to reflect back on what he said earlier, that a society will crumble up within itself if it is not checked in time. We would like to continue the debate, but I would have liked to move to Ojapi Sonamani, but our time is almost up. So I would like to wrap up the episode here. So I would like to thank all our panelists for tonight for joining us and giving us your wonderful and varied views and regarding a very, very important and a very interesting topic. I'd like to thank Ojapi Sonamani, socio-political commentator. I'd like to thank Professor Amar Yumnam from VC Manipur University, and also Sapam Shyamananda, career counselor, for joining us tonight on discussing this very important topic. Thank you once again. I'd also like to thank our viewers for tuning in tonight. Please join us again next Monday. At the same time, we will be back again with more exciting topics. Until then, have a good week. Thank you.